Welcome to this lesson on the hidden mechanics of credit cards. By the end of this video, you will be able to calculate how interest accumulates on a balance and understand why making only the minimum payment can lead to a cycle of long-term debt. Most people think of a credit card as a simple tool for convenience. However, behind every swipe is a sophisticated mathematical engine designed to maximize the interest you pay over time. Let's look at the core components of your credit card statement. First, we have the principal balance, which is the total amount you currently owe. Then there is the annual percentage rate, or APR. While the APR is the headline number you see in advertisements, it's not actually the number used for your monthly bill. Instead, banks use a periodic interest rate. Finally, there is the minimum payment formula. To find this, the bank takes your APR and divides it by 365 days to get a daily rate. This tiny percentage is applied to your balance every single day. This is why credit card debt grows so aggressively. Now, let's look at how interest is actually calculated using a method called the average daily balance. Our goal is to calculate the interest charge for a single billing cycle. Imagine you start a 30-day billing cycle with a balance of $1,000. Halfway through the month, on day 16, you make a $200 purchase. Your balance is now $1,200. To calculate the interest, the bank doesn't just look at your starting or ending balance. They average it out. First, we sum the daily balances. 15 days at $1,000 plus 15 days at $1,200. This gives us a total sum of $33,000. Dividing by 30 days, your average daily balance is $1,100. Now, suppose your APR is 24%. The formula for interest is average daily balance times APR divided by 365 times the days in the cycle. Plugging in our numbers, $1,100 times 0.24 divided by 365 times 30. This equals $21.70. So even before you've made a payment, $21.70 has been added to your debt. This is the cost of borrowing that money for 1 month. Now that we understand how interest is added, let's look at the minimum payment. By the end of this scene, you will understand how banks determine the smallest amount you are allowed to pay. Most credit card issuers use a formula to calculate your minimum payment. It is usually the higher of two values, a flat fee, often around $35, or a percentage of your total balance plus any new interest. Let's use our previous example. We had a balance of $1,200 and an interest charge of $21.70. If the bank uses the 1% plus interest rule, 1% of $1,200 is $12. Adding the interest of $21.70, the total calculated minimum payment is $33.70. Notice something critical here. Since the $33.70 payment is lower than the $35 flat fee, the bank will likely require you to pay $35. Take a moment to look at those numbers. You paid $35, but your actual debt only went down by $13.30. The rest of that money, over 60% of your payment, went straight to the bank as interest. This is the minimum payment trap. To see the long-term impact, let's visualize how the debt behaves over time if you never make another purchase, but only pay the minimum amount. Imagine you have a $5,000 balance at 24% interest. If you only pay the minimum, the balance decreases incredibly slowly at first because the interest charge is nearly as large as the payment itself. In the first month, you might pay $150, but $100 of that is interest. Only $50 actually reduces your debt. By the time you finally pay off that $5,000 debt, you will have paid over $8,000 in interest alone. You've effectively paid for your purchases more than 2.5 times over. This is because interest is charged on the remaining balance every single month. As the balance drops, the interest drops, which in turn makes your minimum payment drop. This mathematical relationship ensures the debt lasts as long as possible. We've covered a lot of ground today. You've learned how to calculate daily interest, how banks determine your minimum payment, and how those payments are split between principal and profit for the bank. The key takeaway is a concept called negative amortization's cousin, the near infinite payoff period. When your payment is barely larger than the interest being added, the math is working against you. Recommendation: pay more than the minimum. Even $20 extra per month can shave years off the debt. To recap, by understanding that the minimum payment is designed to keep you in debt for as long as possible, you can make better financial decisions. Always look at your statement's minimum payment warning table. It is a legal requirement that shows you the exact math of how long it will take to reach zero. Thank you for watching. You are now better equipped to navigate the mathematics of credit and protect your financial future.